I extend my support and congratulations to Yang Ahmad Berhormat, Premier of Sarawak, for his articulate budget speech and for successfully presenting a healthy and an expansionary budget of 15.8 billion for the year 2025. The revenue collection projection for this year, 2024, of almost 14 billion ringgit is set to mark a significant milestone in Sarawak's history. That translates to a surplus budget for the year 2024 running. I laud our YAB Premier for presenting another surplus budget for the year 2025, notably 10.9 billion ringgit out of 15.8 billion ringgit, which is almost 70% of this budget, is allocated for development, in stark contrast to Semenanjung, Malaysia, where only 20% is directed towards development, with 80% allocated for operating expenditures. Please be informed, my honorable member for Padungan. Today, while Malaysia's debt has risen to 1.3 trillion ringgit, Sarawak's reserve has reached 40 billion ringgit, up from 31 billion ringgit. Please be informed, member for Padungan. Dato' Speaker. I would like to congratulate Sarawak on our remarkable achievements in SUKMA. The dedication and hard work of our athletes, the organizers and the ministers responsible for the SUKMA and Para-SUKMA competitions were truly commendable. Under the leadership of our Minister of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, member for N15 Asajaya and his capable team, including SUKMA 21 Chief Executive Officer, our Deputy SS1, Sarawak has demonstrated exceptional organizational prowess, not just in the organizing of SUKMA 21, but also in the equally successful Rainforest World Music Festival. Member for Adun N36 Laya also deserves recognition for his role as Chief Demission of SUKMA 21, guiding the Sarawak contingent to an overall victory with a remarkable medal tally. Congratulations also go to our Menteri Pembangunan Wanita, Kanak-kanak dan Kesejahteraan Community member for N56 Dalat, for continuing in building this momentum towards the 2027 SEA Games. Agi hidup, agi ngelaban. Dato' Speaker, I would also like to congratulate our YAB Premier and the GPS government for advancing Sarawak's interests as a majority shareholder in Afin Bank and Bintulu Port, acquiring a 15% stake in LNG by purchasing Shell's shares and obtaining a 20% stake in Bakun from Tenaga Nasional. Furthermore, Sarawak's own oil company, Petros, has now become the third largest oil company in Malaysia. We must encourage our 2.3 million Sarawakians to support GPS and grant our YAB Premier and our Deputy Minister in the Premier of Sarawak's Department, member for N7 Semariang, and the party the mandate to uphold our rights over our territorial waters. Dato' Speaker, we are grateful to our YAB Premier for the ART system and look forward to its commissioning in Sarawak. Currently, Grab is the most convenient form of transport for tourists, but its cost makes it unaffordable for locals as a daily transport. We appreciate the federal government's provision of 56 pink buses under the SBST program starting 2025. However, there are many small feeder roads in Sarawak which are inaccessible to large buses. I suggest Sarawak to establish our very own ride-hailing company, e-hailing company, a fleet of commercial vehicles servicing residential areas, ART stations, hospitals, and major malls. Fares can be subsidized to ensure affordability and reduce private vehicle use. Buses could also offer real-time tracking through an app similar to Grab, in inverted commas, improving efficiency and user-friendliness. Besides providing local jobs and attracting tourists and investors, our fleet of clean, air-conditioned Sarawak buses and commercial vehicles could be decorated with Sarawakian motifs to highlight our local culture. I would also like to take this opportunity to address our Transport Minister regarding the need for an even more ambitious transport plan for Sarawak. Specifically, I urge our Honourable Minister to expedite the establishment of a railway system in our state. This will go further to enhance the transport system throughout Sarawak, which happens to be the largest state in Malaysia in terms of land mass. Billions and billions of ringgit has gone into building the transport system in Malaya in the last 50 years, using mainly profits from the oil and gas sourced from the Borneo states. It is therefore right and just that the federal government return a portion of these profits to develop a rail transport system in the Borneo states. This will most certainly uplift the standard of living in the two Borneo states to be on par with their West Malaysian counterparts. Dr. Speaker, I salute the Sarawak Education Ministry for its forward-thinking initiatives. While Malaya debates language policies and reintroducing exams, Sarawak is confidently implementing a dual language policy, teaching science and mathematics in English, and forging ahead with carrying out standardized assessments for primary 6 pupils by 2025 and Form 3 students by 2028. Sarawak's strong support for vernacular schools contrasts with calls for their closure in Malaya. The state government is 7 times, the Sarawak GPS government is 7 times more generous in funding Chinese schools than the federal government, and is the only state in Malaysia to recognize the UEC. Our YAB Premier has assured that UEC graduates can enter all 5 Sarawak-owned universities. I strongly urge our Chinese population to support our YAB Premier and GPS wholeheartedly. While West Malaysia remains focused on race-based policies, Sarawak stands apart by nurturing talents irrespective of creed or race, fostering a more inclusive and forward-thinking educational environment. Sarawak also offers free tertiary education for selected courses and provides top SPM students with a chance to study medicine at UNIMAS. I thank our YAB Premier for establishing the Sovereign Wealth Fund, aiming to improve education and future opportunities for anak Sarawak. Again, I wish to appeal to our Chinese population to support our YAB Premier and GPS wholeheartedly. Additionally, I commend the GPS government's initiative to allocate 15 million ringgit annually to provide free tuition for Form 3 and Form 5 students, particularly in rural areas. This move ensures that even the most underserved communities have a fair chance to access quality education and gain admission to higher learning institutions. Securing more autonomy in education will ensure our children thrive in a nurturing learning environment. Let us continue to champion the interests of our students and ensure that Sarawak's education system remains robust and progressive. Dr. Speaker, stability in our state government is vital for progress. GPS has consistently delivered on its promises, in stark contrast to the empty rhetoric often emanating from Malayan parties, including DAP. I would like to commend our YAB Premier and our esteemed leaders for their principled and clear-minded leadership. It is essential that we continue to encourage our leaders to forge ahead with a vision that prioritizes the interests of Sarawak and its people. At the same time, we must remain vigilant against the influence of political parties from Malaya. The absence of UMNO in Sarawak has contributed to our unity and harmony, in contrast to Sabah, our neighboring Sabah. And we must continue to express our firm stance against the presence of Malayan political parties in Sarawak. They represent unwelcome influences from the peninsula, often prioritizing federal interests over Sarawak's interests. The introduction of Malayan parties into our state will dilute our representation and will further reduce our present 25% allocation of parliamentary seats, thereby undermining our constitutional rights. Historically, the founding fathers of Malaysia ensured that 65% of parliamentary seats would be in Malaya, with the remainder allocated to Borneo states to safeguard our rights and interests. Right now, Malaya holds 75% of all the seats, while Sabah and Sarawak combined hold only 25%. Malaya currently holds over 40 parliamentary seats occupied by the DAP. It is crucial not to further diminish Sarawak's representation by supporting DAP candidates when there are already ample seats dedicated to Malaya. Sarawak and Sabah must hold at least 35% of the DEWAN Rakyat seats. We don't want Malaya parties to contest in Sarawak and Sabah. Don't come here and take our seats. You already have enough. We don't have enough parliamentary seats as it is. So Malayan parties, including the DAP, should not come to Sabah and Sarawak to take our seats. I would like to reiterate our strong support for the proposal to reserve 35% of parliamentary seats for Sarawak and Sabah, in accordance to the Malaysian Agreement 1963. Currently, Sarawak and Sabah hold only 56 seats, or less than 1/3 of the total 222 parliamentary seats. We need at least 74 seats or more to veto any constitutional rights that may be detrimental to Sarawak. The federal government must respect the position of Sabah and Sarawak as equal partners in the formation of Malaysia and not as states of the Malaya Federation. Therefore, the seats belonging to Singapore should be returned to Sarawak and Sabah. Recent discussions in the State Legislative Assembly have shown that no concrete decision has been made in increasing representation, despite talks in 2022 and 2023. The Deputy Prime Minister suggests that it may take 2 to 3 years to resolve, but progress has been excruciatingly slow. Action is needed, not just promises, and this is urgent. A concerning proposal from some Malayan NGOs suggests increasing Senate seats for Sabah and Sarawak instead of parliamentary seats. This cannot be accepted as it does not provide the veto power needed to protect our interests. We all know that the key decisions are made in the lower house, not the Senate. We must firmly reject this proposal. Dato' Speaker, it is time to prioritize the Borneonisation of our civil service as per the wishes of our forefathers who signed MA 63. We should be recruiting local teachers, doctors, police personnel, and filling key positions with Sarawakians. I commend the Minister of Education for focusing on recruiting Sarawakian teachers, reducing reliance on federal provisions. Sending teachers from Semenanjung has led to issues like high absenteeism and unfamiliarity with subjects, especially in STEM. Sarawakian teachers are better connected to local communities and thrive in familiar environments. West Malaysian teachers are reluctant to transfer to Sarawak, and many of them, like many Sarawakians, face the difficult choice of leaving aging parents or caring for sick family members. I strongly advocate for removing the current quota system that limits Sarawakian teachers and doctors from working in our own state. Sarawakian doctors should be prioritized to practice in our own public hospitals, and it should be compulsory for West Malaysian doctors to serve here. Local talent who understand our context should be given the opportunity. This principle should also apply to the police force, where top-ranking positions here often go to officers from Malaya, limiting opportunities for capable Sarawakians. Many excel locally, but are reassigned to roles in Malaya, perpetuating division and undermining our representation. Empowering Sarawakians in these roles will strengthen our institutions and ensure that our state's interests are truly represented, as envisioned in the drafting of MA 63. Dato' Speaker, recently there appear to be a number of coffee shops in the towns which may have been used for illegal gambling and online activities. This has led to an escalation of small-scale thieving and reports of robberies. One contributing factor appears to be the limited police patrol and personnel presence, with limited patrol vehicles available in the Patawan area. There is also very limited CCTV coverage, and I would like to express my appreciation to YAB Premier for the initiation of our security officers and Coast Guard under Unit Keselamatan dan Penguatkuasaan Sarawak. If I may, I would like to suggest that further strengthening of these forces could be considered, possibly in collaboration with federal officers. This collaborative effort could effectively address and mitigate illegal activities and increase security in our area.
Closing, please.
Thank you, Dato' Speaker. I wish to thank my fellow members for remaining committed to our objectives and to support initiatives that benefit Sarawak and our people. Together, we can ensure that our rights and interests are upheld for generations to come, and together we will endeavor to build a Sarawak that our children and grandchildren would like to see. Together, we will leave them a better Sarawak than when we found it. Dato' Speaker, I wish to express my full support for the Budget Bill 2024 delivered by our Honourable YAB Premier of Sarawak, member for N26 Kedong. Finally, I would like to wish our Christian community Selamat Menyambut Hari Christmas and a Happy New Year to all Sarawakians. Thank you once again, Dato' Speaker.